Today our topic is how to manage anger like a Stoic. Anger is a strong emotion that everyone feels, but it can cause problems if we don't handle it well. The Stoics, who were ancient philosophers, believed that anger is not helpful and that we can control it with practice. They thought that our emotions come from our thoughts, and if we change our thoughts, we can change how we feel. This is not easy, but it is possible. Let's talk about how to manage anger like a Stoic. First, we need to understand what anger is. Anger is a natural reaction when we feel that something is wrong or unfair. It can make us want to fight or argue. But the Stoics believed that anger is not a good way to solve problems. They thought that when we are angry, we are not thinking clearly. Instead of helping us, anger can make things worse. It can hurt our relationships, our health, and our peace of mind. The Stoics taught that we should try to stay calm and think before we act. One way to manage anger is to pause before reacting. When something makes us angry, our first impulse is to act quickly. But the Stoics said that we should take a moment to think. This pause gives us time to calm down and decide what to do next. For example, if someone says something that makes you angry, instead of yelling or saying something mean, you can take a deep breath and count to 10. This simple action can help you avoid saying or doing something you might regret later. Another Stoic idea is to remember that we cannot control everything. Often, we get angry because things don't go the way we want. But the Stoics believe that many things are out of our control. We can't control other people's actions, the weather, or traffic. What we can control is how we react to these things. If we accept that we can't change everything, we can focus on what we can control, like our own thoughts and actions. This can help us feel less frustrated and angry. The Stoics also taught us to look at the bigger picture. When we are angry, we tend to focus on the problem right in front of us. But if we step back and think about the situation, we might see that it's not as important as it seems. For example, if someone cuts in front of you in line, you might feel angry. But if you think about it, is it really worth getting upset over? Probably not. The Stoics believe that many things we get angry about are small and not worth our energy. By focusing on what really matters, we can avoid unnecessary anger. Another important Stoic idea is to practice empathy. Empathy means trying to understand how other people feel. When we are angry with someone, it's easy to think that they are wrong and we are right. But the Stoics said that we should try to see things from the other person's point of view. Maybe they are having a bad day, or they didn't mean to upset us. If we try to understand their feelings, we might feel less angry. This doesn't mean we have to agree with them, but it can help us stay calm and kind. The Stoics also believed in practicing gratitude. Gratitude means being thankful for what we have. When we are angry, we often focus on what's wrong or what we don't have. But if we take a moment to think about the good things in our lives, we can feel calmer and happier. For example, if you are angry because you didn't get a promotion, you can think about the job you do have and the people who care about you. This shift in focus can help you feel less angry and more content. Another way to manage anger is to prepare for challenges. The Stoics believe that life is full of difficulties, and we should expect them. They call this premeditation of evils. This means thinking about what could go wrong before it happens. If we prepare ourselves for tough situations, we are less likely to be surprised or angry when they happen. For example, if you know that traffic is bad in the morning, you can leave early and avoid getting angry about being late. By expecting problems, we can stay calm and handle them better. The Stoics also taught us to focus on our own actions and not worry too much about what others think. Sometimes we get angry because we feel judged or criticized by others. But the Stoics said that we can't control what other people think or say. What we can control is how we act and how we respond. If we focus on being the best version of ourselves, we can feel more confident and less affected by others' opinions. This can help us stay calm and avoid unnecessary anger. Another Stoic practice is to reflect on our day. At the end of each day, the Stoics would think about what happened and how they reacted. They would ask themselves questions like, did I stay calm today? Did I let anger control me? This reflection helps us learn from our experiences and improve. If we notice that we got angry too easily, we can think about how to handle the situation better next time. This practice of self-reflection can help us grow and become more patient. The Stoics also believed in the power of reason. Reason means thinking clearly and logically. When we are angry, our emotions can take over, and we might not think clearly. But the Stoics said that we should use our reason to guide our actions. If we take the time to think about why we are angry and what we can do about it, we are more likely to find a good solution. For example, if you are angry because your friend forgot your birthday, you can think about whether it's worth ending the friendship or if it's better to talk to them and explain how you feel. Reason helps us make better choices. Another important Stoic idea is to accept that life is not perfect. The Stoics believe that we should expect challenges and difficulties. They call this Amor Fati, which means loving your fate. This doesn't mean that we should be happy about bad things, but we should accept them as part of life. If we accept that life is not always easy, we can handle problems with more patience and less anger. For example, if you lose your job, instead of being angry, you can focus on finding a new one and learning from the experience. Finally, the Stoics believed in the importance of practice. Managing anger is not something we can do overnight. It takes time and effort. But if we practice the Stoic ideas every day, we can get better at it. We can start by pausing before reacting, thinking about what we can control, and focusing on the bigger picture. Over time, these practices can become habits, and we can learn to stay calm even in difficult situations. In conclusion, managing anger like a Stoic is not easy, but it is possible. By pausing before reacting, accepting what we can't control, practicing empathy and gratitude, preparing for challenges, focusing on our own actions, reflecting on our day, using reason, accepting life's imperfections, and practicing regularly, we can learn to handle anger in a better way. The Stoics believed that by controlling our emotions, we can live a more peaceful and fulfilling life. So next time you feel angry, remember these Stoic ideas and try to stay calm. It might not be easy, but it is worth it.